Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I want to talk about some of the latest stuff. I have so much news to catch up on, so I'm going to be doing that over the next couple of days here. All I got to say is I really did miss out on quite a bit. I thought that, it was going to be pretty quiet over the last couple of weeks, but I actually missed out on quite a bit of stuff here. So yeah, I'm going to talk about all of that, talk about some of the latest news here, and then there's a bunch of videos I have planned here because I was going through everything, and honestly, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. There's some stuff with Fear the Walking Dead, which I found very, very interesting because I actually do wonder what that means for certain individual characters, most likely spin-offs, right? Those will probably be coming out in 2024 and 2025 and whatnot. And that makes me very excited to see a lot of certain characters like Morgan or Dwight and to see what they do with those characters. Because it really feels like where we're going with this next stage of the Walking Dead universe is there's going to be a lot of shows or limited series. And there's probably going to be a bunch of them, right? Like I imagine we're probably going to get a Morgan one or something like that. If they do something else, like depending on how the Rick and Michonne show ends, we could have Morgan involved in something like that, right? So we'll have to wait and see. Honestly, we're gonna have to wait and see. But there's a lot of stuff here to talk about. Don't worry, for me, I am fine. Like I'm doing as best as I can. My life definitely has been turned upside down over the last couple of weeks, though, in some pretty shocking ways that I really was never expecting. And so it's been pretty hard for me to kind of deal with over the last couple of weeks, but I'm doing good. I'm doing totally fine. And I'm back to doing daily videos again. And for sure this time I really am. Honestly, doing this definitely really helps me just in general. Like it helps me just stay with it. And it gives me something to do. And I think when you're going through hard times and stuff like that, you got to keep busy. And so I'm very excited to talk about all this stuff here. So before going any further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. But let's actually get into some of the news here. So I guess the first thing I want to give some thoughts on is some of the release dates that have been pushed off a little bit here. Obviously, Dead City, that was a show that was supposed to premiere, I believe. It was in April, but it's now been pushed off until June. And I think the Rick and Michonne show is now pushed off until 2024, which to me, I think that just means it's going to be coming out early 2024, probably in February, which is a little weird for a release date, So we still got to wait another year. But the thing is, though, is we're going to see a lot of stuff from it before then, right? Like, it's not like we have to wait until next year to see anything. Like, there's probably going to be a teaser trailer or something at Comic-Con this year. So we're going to see a bunch of stuff. We're going to learn a lot more about the story and all of that. And there's probably going to be a lot more exciting announcements happening this year because with Fear the Walking Dead ending, I'm assuming they're going to announce something with those characters and whatnot. So yeah, I'm definitely very excited for that. I can't wait to see where they plan to go with a lot of that. Dead City, like I said, was originally supposed to drop in April, but it's now arriving in June. And to me, that's not too shocking. Honestly, I think what it is most likely is they kind of just want to wait a little bit. Like The Walking Dead just ended 2 months ago, right? So I think they want to give it time to breathe just a little bit before they jump back into something like that. And maybe there's something there with production and whatnot, but I do think that is most likely what is happening here. And so when you actually look at everything here, I'm actually very excited because I do think what this means is that, they are very much expanding a lot of the Walking Dead universe and bringing to life these new stories and stuff. And I do wonder how everything is going to sort of work out, right? Because again, we still have those questions. Like obviously we want to have Daryl and Rick reunite at some point, right? We're not going to get that this year, but I do wonder how that's going to play out in the future because I believe the Rick and Michonne show, what it says is that show is going to conclude their stories. So, I mean, I guess they could do a season 2 or whatever, but yeah, we're going to have to see where they go with that, right? And I do expect with a show like that, if it is very successful, that they will do a season 2. Like, it just makes so much sense to me. And so that, based off of this, probably wouldn't be out until 2025, which is kind of crazy, but obviously I'm very excited for that. So definitely, I'm not going to complain about that. The Daryl show as well has been sort of pushed off, and it seems like that show is likely going to be coming out most likely in October. Like I think that show is going to be more of an October going into November sort of thing. So that's going to be our typical Walking Dead, whatever, right? What I will say, and I do find this very interesting, but it seems like AMC is really sticking with the 6-episode format because Fear the Walking Dead, its 8th and final season, is going to be 12 episodes, but each part is going to be 6 episodes. So there's going to be a first part, and it's obviously 6 episodes. Second part, another 6 episodes. And I believe it's coming out in May, so we have to wait another, what is that, 4 months until we actually get anything with that. They did actually release a teaser and stuff, so I will talk about that. There's a lot of stuff there. They actually talk about some really crazy stuff. I think there's going to be a pretty big time jump as well. So yeah, that's very interesting there, because that time jump lines up perfectly, I believe, with where they're at currently. Like, I have to do the math, but I'm pretty sure it actually lines up with where, you know, the Walking Dead ended and stuff. So it's really interesting to see that, just because at this point, Morgan and Madison have known each other for quite a while. I guess Alicia's been gone for a while. Yeah, a lot of questions I have there. And then obviously it makes it very easy for them to really take those characters and put them in other spin-offs and stuff like that. So I am pretty shocked, though, that all this stuff came out right away. Like, I really wasn't expecting a lot of this to drop right away. I was thinking that this stuff would start to come out or start to be released. Like, I guess I was a little confused with Fear the Walking Dead, because like Fear the Walking Dead, we all thought, well, maybe February, right? Based off of the old release schedule, but they weren't promoting it. And so, I mean, obviously the new updated schedule makes a lot of sense. Like, if it's coming out in May, I mean, it makes sense why we got a teaser for it now. They announced it as the final season. And honestly, for Fear the Walking Dead, I actually totally agree with it being the final season, just because like people watch that show and, you know, people do like that show, but there's so much more that you can do with each individual character. So I think it's smarter to end that show there, because now you're going to have more people watching Fear the Walking Dead, because it's, you know, it's a final season, so you want to see how you conclude that story there. Some characters we might not see again, but characters like Sherry, Dwight, Strand, Morgan, Madison, I mean, there's a bunch of characters, right? Some of those characters might actually go to spinoffs. And first of all, I know some of those characters are going to get their own spinoffs, and they'll probably interact with some of the Walking Dead characters, right? Because that's one thing that you can actually do right now. Like, you want to create excitement and stuff, you can have Morgan or Madison, you know, meet up with like Maggie or Negan, right? Or with Daryl, if Daryl comes back from France, obviously. There's supposed to be some more stories with Carol at some point, right? Like, Carol's not done yet. So I imagine that's going to be a season 2 thing for the Daryl show in 2024. So it's just really exciting, because now they're starting to sort of, you know, like build everything back up here, because The Walking Dead ended. You ended this really epic story, and now you're branching off into these spin-offs, and you want to start to create something new here. And I'm very excited to see where they're going to go with this. I think Fear the Walking Dead ending makes the most sense because of that. There's so many characters there that you can have in the other spinoffs, and you can really create something like truly epic with that. And honestly, just tell some really great stories there. So I'm really excited for all of that. In terms of the Rick and Michonne show being pushed off until 2024, it's not the end of the world for me. I was really looking forward to it coming out in October, just because that's only, 9 months away from now. I am disappointed that we do have to wait a little bit more, but I guess if we have to wait that much more, it's just, you know, it's just that much more, you know, to talk about. It's that much more longer that we get to sort of live in this, right? So for it to be pushed off until then, I think is totally fine. I mean, I believe they're filming right now, or they're doing something right now anyways, in terms of all of that. So, or at least they're in pre-production, right? Like, they're getting ready to film. I know they're supposed to film in February, and I believe they're going to be filming until like June or something like that. So, you know, so like they're going to have all this done by the spring, basically spring going into summer. And then just where do you kind of go from there? And how do you release it? How do you hype up the fan base and stuff like that? Like, Fear the Walking Dead's really going to get things going. As soon as we get into Dead City, that's going to be a lot of fun. Comic-Con's going to be so much fun. And then we just sort of get into everything else. And then obviously at Comic-Con, we're most likely going to get that teaser trailer for the Rick and Michonne show. So there's just a lot of stuff here to really look forward to. There's a lot of stuff to be excited about. I'm very excited about a lot. So yeah, definitely post all your thoughts down below. I apologize for not really being here for the last couple of weeks. I've just been going through a lot of stuff. I hope you guys can understand. There's been some really crazy changes in my life that I've been sort of forced to adapt to, and it's been very, very rough. And so I'm back now, though. I'll have a video out tomorrow. I think tomorrow I'm going to focus on Fear the Walking Dead, breaking down that teaser and stuff like that, getting into some new details there. There's a bunch of stuff actually that I missed regarding the Rick and Michonne show. Today I just wanted to talk about the timelines and stuff like that, but tomorrow I'll actually get into some more stuff there regarding the Rick and Michonne spinoff, because there are some really cool updates. There was some cool stuff that actually was released, so I do want to get into some of that. So yeah, anyways, definitely post all your thoughts down below. This is my first video of 2023. I still will get around to my top 10 videos. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about that. I'm actually kind of happy that I waited a little bit, because I had some of my stuff worked out for my top 10 videos. And, you know, I went back and rewatched some episodes, and I actually like some of the episodes more than I thought. Maybe it's because my expectations are a little different, you know, like rewatching some stuff, you sort of view things a little differently. But yeah, there's certain Tales of the Walking Dead episodes that I actually really liked a lot more than I thought. And Maybe it's because I already knew they were bad, so just going back to rewatching it, it was a little different. You know, I just didn't have that high of expectations for it. But yeah, I definitely have to sort of rework a lot of that. It's actually going to be kind of interesting to see where things are going to go with this year, you know, at the end of the year, what we're going to talk about in terms of content. Because I guess we're going to have Fear the Walking Dead, I guess The Walking Dead Dead City, and then The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, right? Like those are going to be the main shows that we do talk about. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, in terms of content, how much we're going to get. Because if the Rick and Michonne show is being pushed off until next year, that means that we're going to have a total of 24 episodes, I guess, for Walking Dead content this year, which is definitely, I guess, a lot lower than normal. Though I do think the quality of the content is going to be a lot better and there's going to be a lot more hype for these shows. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to leave it here. Definitely post your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.